I'm Marcus,
I'm Sunny.
and we are Grace Nova's parents. She has Escobar syndrome. It's all just physical disabilities. So she's really bright. She's very...
Teenager.
And she's, full-on teenager. Has to be right.
For every problem, I've had a solution.
I agree with you.
All right, well, let's go jump in the car and get our dog.
Okay, I didn't say we were going to get a dog. All I said was that I'm considering it.
You were considering it, now you're...
I don't know who she would get that from. Yeah, she gets that from me probably. Even though this...
We're both really stubborn, and we don't like to be told what to do. So what's the most frustrating thing about having a child with disabilities?
To me, there's always something. You know, as she grows and as she progresses, her genetics oftentimes want to undo what happens in the operating room.
Grace has had 33 surgeries.
I hate surgeries because they're not fun and they're scary. And I'm getting ready to have another one on Wednesday that's going to really smart them out.
And she's probably always going to have something her whole life to tune up, to fix throughout.
And then, of course, you know, as she gets older, that not necessarily functionality, but more image-based. So right now, even though theoretically we're on a break, hopefully if things go well, she won't have any surgeries till she's done growing. But then we just got a sleep study results. And the ENT is worried about airway to her brain, complications with that. Like I said, it just feels like there's always something.
What would we say to parents who have a child who's going through surgeries or have physical disabilities going through school?
One of the wonderful things of social media is that people have been there and done it. They've done it before you. She's not the first kid to have Escobars. She's not going to be the last kid to have Escobars. And just the fact that there are other people who can tell you their experiences, what they've learned. And they can also tell you a little bit like, okay, oh, you live in this area of the country, you probably want to go see this doctor. It helps manage your expectations a little bit because so much was just the unknown. And so you try to prepare, but you really just don't know what you're in for.
Just reach out to people on the internet. Facebook has a lot of groups, you know, specifically to what your disability may be. And then also for us, what really helped was just to have a good support team, family, our church, prayer, and if that's not your thing, just still get a team around you that can be there to help bring a meal, to help watch if you have siblings, you know, watch them, write a card, visit in the hospital.
Yeah, people want to help, but they just don't know how. And so they say, you know, just let me know what I can do, and they really mean it.
It's not the end of the world when you find out, the mom, when you're pregnant, that it's not going to be a perfectly healthy child. I mean, lots of things can go wrong.
Yeah, so much of life is expectations versus reality. One thing I would say is in the disability community, anecdotally, I'm not going to make a blanket message, but oftentimes there is a sense of like, oh, woe is me as the parent.
Be careful.
It certainly has its place. My point would just be, it's almost like the 5 stages of grief. Yes, there is a place for that, but at some point you gotta like move on. And I think oftentimes people, they want a gift wrap solution. And one thing that I've learned with disabled is that there is no one size fits all. You just gotta figure stuff out.
We found out that she was diagnosed, and we didn't know with what, because we found out really early. We were sad and upset.
We found out early she was going to have problems, but we didn't know what they were going to be.
And so then we were, you know, I'm sure I cried a couple times, but I don't really cry that much because you don't know what to expect. And then when she was born, it was like, oh, okay, so she's going to have surgeries, we're going to have therapy, but...
You know, we're worried, like...
She wouldn't breathe.
Is she going to breathe? Is she going to survive? Is she going to, like... So... You know, even just the childbirth experience was, at least to me, incredibly terrifying because you just didn't even know, okay, is she going to come out and they're going to have her on ventilators and life support, and then is it going to last 15 minutes and that's it, you know? And you just don't know.
Right. But then you'd find out and you manage, you know, but you got to get help and you move on. And you can't sit around and say, oh, I have a disabled child. No, because every child has some kind of gift that they can give to the world. And
yeah, well, and even like for music, we discovered, okay, we wanted her to get into music, not because we wanted her to play at Carnegie Hall, but Carnegie Hall, if you're watching, might call.
Another tip, you make them do things. You make them take responsibility. I think some friends we know cater to their child maybe a little too much. They don't make them do chores. It's a disadvantage to them when you don't make them take responsibility for day to day, taking care of themselves, taking care of others. We always tell Grace she's a part of the family, so you have to earn your keep. And that's something we have to continue to remind her.
You know, oftentimes you want to focus on the disability because that's what's being thrown in front of you. You still need to do your chores. You still need to do the laundry. You still need to help us out.
Be nice to your sister.
Be nice to your sister. Be organized. Do your homework. Get things done.
Plan for your YouTube channel.
The point to parents really is don't make excuses. Make them do stuff, whatever they are capable of doing. And even if there's not inherent capability, doesn't mean that they can't learn to get to that capability. For kids, oftentimes they get so much sympathy and so much empathy and people feel sorry for them. But then guess what? Reality of life, they're gonna grow up. Eventually, guess what? We're not gonna be around. You know, she's gotta be able to figure out life on her own.
Or how to get help.
Or how to get help.
Own.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a good one.
I think one of the challenges we have is we try very much to treat her like a regular child. We probably don't push her enough in the kitchen to cook because we're worried about her hands and what is she gonna burn or if she's gonna burn herself.
And then the other side of it is not having great balance or stability. Even something as light as a backpack can throw her balance off sometimes. We obviously want her to have independence. We want her to be on her own. We want her to do her own thing in life. You know, that's the flip side of it, is that I don't think you ever stop being a mom or a dad, or you ever stop worrying about your kid. So,
you know what she lacks physically, I guess God gave her in a double dose of charm and intellect. Academics comes very easy, almost too easy, because she has figured out that, hey, this is easy, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try to excel and be the best. I can just do the bare minimum, which is pretty good. And she's very social. I mean, she's got a personality that we did not give her. I don't know.
I don't know where she got that one from.
But she loves being around people. She's our total extrovert.
Yeah.
All of you write math.
For us, another thing that was great was just our faith. You know, for me, I know I struggled a lot when she was first born. It's the age-old question that oftentimes people struggle with, is like, why would God do this? And I think in some ways it's actually a huge blessing, because she has experienced some amazing things that otherwise she would not have.
Part of that is just because of her personality. I mean, I think initially people see her and are a little sympathetic and want to come over and say, oh, but then they meet Grace and they're like, holy cow, she's really cool and fun. And then they like her and give her free stuff and give her chores. And
her personality and those things, we want to share it with the world. And it's not even just about us, of course, it's about Grace, and it's her channel. And it's just a natural extension of who she is. One of my frustrations of having a disabled child is that she misses out on a lot of things. You know, just even Halloween, and
she just can't keep up physically when kids are running or...
I drove her around in the golf cart, and she's 14, Dad, I don't want you around, you know? But that was kind of what she needed to be able to keep up with her friends. But because she's different, she just wants to fit in a lot of times. She just wants to be, quote, normal. She
just misses out on a lot. She has friends, but I also think that sometimes they don't include her because they're like, well, let's invite Grace. Oh no, you know, it's gonna be hard for her to do something. So they don't want to exclude her, but.
And I can tell you that breaks my heart when there is I don't know, there was a birthday party that she wasn't invited to, but that's like any kid, you know, it just, you hope that the kid learns from it, you hope that they're okay, but it's just inevitable that having physical disabilities, having any disability, there are gonna be times when you are excluded.
I hope these tips are helpful. Grace, we love her. We love our two girls, they're blessings. You know, God chose us to be their parents, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard though.
It is hard. It's very difficult. But she's a blessing, and I can't imagine our life without her. You know, sometimes, not to get preachy, but the reality of the world we live in today is that oftentimes a female makes the decision not to keep the child for whatever reason. Like for us, having a disabled child, I will tell you, I think it actually brought us closer. I think it brings our family closer. I think it really helps us have the right values in life. I mean, it brings us closer to our faith, and it brings us closer to our community, because all of a sudden now, like we're way more social than we would have been without her. We only do this because we love our child and we want to be part of it.